I'm going down to his level. I feel like a 27-year-old toddler at times, just like wanting to throw a fit,
Oh my
throw
gosh.
my fork on the table, slam my plate on the
Wow.
ground kind of stuff.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Real Men, Real Talk. This is the place where we have uncomfortable conversations in the world's most comfortable underwear. We got some in the link below if you want to try some. If you've been loving our content here in the last few weeks, you can like, comment, and subscribe. We encourage you to do that. We put out new episodes every Monday. So, this week we are continuing our series on emotional intelligence and how that's what a real man does. He is emotionally intelligent. This week we're talking about kind of like the where we are situation. Last week was all about like archetypes, kind of what we learned from our dad and from pop culture. And then let me check my notes. Wait a minute. And yes, we are doing this live, or we're not going to edit this out. And then like men that we saw that were emotionally intelligent, and like how, and Tillman kind of told a story about like how he got to see the side of his dad that he didn't really get to see in some of his day to day. And I really appreciate that. And I have similar experiences with my dad. So once again, this week, this is about where we are. What's working that you learned from when you were, what's working that you learned when you were younger, what's not working, and then what you're doing about that. So that's this week. Sorry for the long intro. Tillman, you've got some great stories. I loved what you had to say and what we were talking about before the podcast. So take it away.
Yeah, for sure.
No.
So, first and foremost, I'm wearing the most comfortable underwear in the world. So links down below, guys. We won't stop until you get it all, until everybody tries it out. So, in regards to last week's episode and, just, a lot of you guys saw that, and just seeing there, like Chris said, there was those moments where I got to see my dad open up and stuff like that. And then thinking about this week's episode, some things that have worked for me from that I took away from my childhood, or I've always been able to make friends pretty easily, right? My dad always showed me how to do small talk. He always showed me like, hey, don't be afraid to talk to people because you never know who you're sitting next to anywhere. So I remember specifically like standing in line at amusement parks, or standing in line at the grocery store. I'd just be talking to people, like grown people, women, men, younger people my age, stuff like that, and just being super friendly, super open, just having genuine conversations about baseball, football. I'd pick on somebody if they were wearing like a Raiders jersey because I'm a Kansas City Chiefs fan. It's just like stuff like that.
Nice.
And
Always got it.
my mom always said, "Oh, you're going to make friends with everybody," and that that's been pretty true my entire childhood and leading up into my adult life too. Like I've got I've got a small group of friends that I stay in contact with, but I'm never afraid to always make more friends or just make more acquaintances that are able to open up the way I'm able to open up with them. Right, small talk leads to good times, fun times, and that's what I've been able to do, and that's what I've taken away from my childhood. It's just always, I know how to have fun, I know how to make people laugh, and I know how to do small talk 24/7. I talk nonstop 6 days a week as well. So it's one of those things where I'm grateful for my parents showing me that way of being able to just have those small conversations, get to know people and learn about other people's lives. And I've learned lessons from people that I never even knew, or probably never ever see in my life again. But I've learned lessons from people that I'm like, wow, that was a good conversation. And then some things that I've ran into in my adulthood that haven't necessarily been working is like the big emotions, right? It's like, it's the ones that are just like, you just feel like everything's just getting crammed on top of you, just like going down and you're going down. And I never really had a good outlet for my big emotions. I used to just like, my biggest thing I would like go cry, but then I wouldn't talk about it. And then at that point I would just like bottle it up. And then, over time it turned into this domino effect. I would like go get upset about it, keep the emotions in, didn't necessarily, what's the best word to say? I felt safe to talk about it with my loved ones and everything like that. But there was things inside of me internally that were like, maybe they can't handle this conversation with me, And
it's always hard.
yeah, and it was super difficult, because and being a kid, like your parents are your go-to people. And I was able to talk to my parents a lot about things, but then there were certain topics and things that just did not feel safe or right to talk with them about Don't know why. Like I told you earlier, Chris, I probably should have, and I knew I could have, regardless of the outcome. But I was always afraid of like what they say or if they would like disown me or something like that. Super crazy idea.
Yeah.
And so my biggest thing right now is just like handling the big emotions because I've noticed like in my adulthood and being married and being a father, um, you got to know how to handle those big emotions because they're going to come more, more every day, you know?
Yeah.
And so it's been one of those things I like to call a work in progress. I'm like picking away at the marble, turning this statue into something beautiful, you know? And, so, you know, it's still not working for me though. Like I can't just go cry and bottle it up. Like I have a wife and kid now. I gotta show the strong man face, but it also goes into not being the strong guy, but being the guy that they can rely on emotionally as well, knowing that I can handle what they're going through and things like that. So it's a constant work in progress, you know, and it's it's like I see my son, he's going through his big emotions as well. he's he's asking those questions, why, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
and he's learning things, and I'm trying to answer the questions to the best of my ability. And I know when he goes through his big emotions, I don't react the way I feel like I should sometimes, and so that's just like
Mhm.
in my mind, I'm going down to his level. I feel like a 27-year-old toddler at times, just like wanting to throw a fit,
Oh my
throw my
gosh.
fork on the table, slam my
Oh,
plate on the
wow.
ground, kind of stuff. It
Yeah,
doesn't
yeah.
work because then it leads to you know, a a brutal conversation with the wife, and then you got to go apologize to the
Yep.
son and everything like that. And it's
Yep.
just so, and it goes back into that domino effect of that constant cycle of like, I don't want him to go cry and then not be able to open up to us. So
Yeah.
it's one of those things
So
where
this is where, okay, I'm just going to shamelessly plug like a previous episode that we did 2 episodes ago. What do you do when you're the problem? Shameless plug for that. Admitting that you're the problem helps break the cycle of the domino effect that you're talking about.
yes,
Because you're going to admit that you're wrong. You're going to apologize to your kids. You apologize to your wife. Say, "Hey, I messed up," and you are now showing your kids and your wife how like this is how to deal with big emotions. This is how to deal with things when I mess up with those big emotions.
yes, yeah, and that's the biggest thing too. It's like it's one of those things where you're exactly right. It's like I try to apologize quick and sincerely because used to it's like, oh, I'm sorry, and then you go back and redo it, or be self-destructive, or just like bottle up or whatever. But now it's just like sitting down with him, explaining like, hey, you know, Dad's got big emotions too, son. I'm working on myself. I want you to see that I'm working on myself. So let's talk about this. And he's 4 years old, so he's going to talk with me for like 30 seconds and then want to go play with some Play-Doh or something like that.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like
They're like, "Okay,
it's
Daddy, bye."
exactly. Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, uh-huh. Why? And then I answered the question, like, okay, you want to play cards or something? I was like, okay, yeah, so for sure. So that's the
It's
beauty of it
crazy.
too. It's
Yeah. Well, well, okay. Um, so for me, let me think. Sorry. Let me think. What worked? So I hear a lot of kind of my own story and yours is this idea of like, yeah, I learned how to have fun and how to have a good time. Like my dad really knows how to have a good time, like in a social setting. Also knows how to do small talk. Um, like when everybody else is like taking things so seriously, is all wrapped up in like, oh, what did I say? He's just like, nah, I don't care. And he's just having a good time at a party and chatting with people and laughing really big, really loud.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like I'm pretty good at that. Like my wife doesn't understand like how I can be so comfortable around people. Well, when I was a kid, I would go on sales calls with my dad, and there was a point to the sales calls. Like the point was to make a sale, but we'd be done with the sale, and then I would be standing there for 20 or 30 minutes listening to this small talk between my dad and this client. Like he's already done the deal. Like he has no need to be there. But here they are talking about the weather, like, oh, the lake rose by 5 inches today, and like, or not 5 inches today, but like the lake did this, oh, the weather did that, and oh man, this dog, oh, this weird animal that. Like it's just he could just carry on a conversation for apparently no reason. And then here I am. I grew up and I learned how to just have a conversation with anybody, no matter how important, no matter how low. And that was something that's helped me out a lot in life, and still does. Uh, Now, when I think about where I'm not very well equipped, is the big emotions. Man, my son brings that out so much because like when he was first starting to have the big emotions around like, 3-ish, we call them three-nagers for a reason. When he literally like screams at the top of his lungs, like right in your face, like just pure toddler rage.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, if you grew that up like that, if you put that in a full grown man, that'd be pretty scary. Um, well, originally, like I'm not trained how to deal with big emotions, so I'd get angry at him and say, "Be quiet, like stop that. That's not right. You shouldn't respond like that." And then my wife pointed out, it's like, "You don't know how to deal with big emotions, and you're not teaching him." I'm like, "Oh shoot. Okay." Um, and it took me a while to kind of come around to that because and even still sometimes just yesterday, like he's got these big emotions and he does this stupid thing and I'm just like, you need to stop. Just stop. Like, stop doing the thing that I told you 50 times to stop doing. But that's not helpful when you don't teach them how to deal with those things. So I'm running a little long in my explanation, but that's basically where uh, I'm not super well equipped. And what I'm doing about it, and what I have done about it, there's some good books out there by Brené Brown, Braving the Wilderness. There's a couple others, but basically she talks about vulnerability and how, like, kind of just I'm probably gonna butcher the main points of her book so bad, but just how in order to move on in life and be emotionally intelligent, you have to be vulnerable. You can't just armor up and be tough all the time and make it through life and without hurting other people or yourself. Like you need to put the armor down. Strong back, soft front is one of the things that she talks about. You need to be strong, but you can't be hard all the time. Like there's a time to be hard, there's a time to be tough, but that's not all the time. Also, John Eldridge was really helpful. Now, not everybody agrees with his books, and that's totally fine. The one that I'm specifically referencing is Journey of Desire. He talked about how when you have desires, when you don't learn how to deal with them properly and find a healthy place for those desires, they come out in a bad way. You can hurt other people and hurt yourself. So what he taught me in that book was to um, plug those in, and I'm Christian, so plug those into God, plug those into Jesus Christ, into selfless acts, into service for others. Um, and just listen to the voice of God when it comes to your desires, and put everything under the authority of Scripture. Like that's my personal belief. I understand if you don't believe that, but in general, it's a good concept. Like if you have a desire and you're doing bad things, the solution isn't just to kill it. The solution is to find out why and to find the correct place for that. Find the good place where you're actually using that desire to make the world a better place. So I hope that kind of makes sense. That's kind of where I am with it, and yeah, just trying to get better in my relationships.
You're just like, reteaching yourself a different way that's going to break those generational chains that and I feel like for most guys the big emotions is where it's a weakness. So I think just talking about it and seeing what we can do better, whether it's with ourselves, whether it's with our spouses, our sons, and if it's if it's a single guy out there too, it's like work on yourself now so that way when the time does come along for
Yeah.
yourself to have a significant other and a family, you're going to be better for it. I got married when I was young, still working on myself. I feel like a toddler to this day. Sometimes I wish I could just like rage scream in somebody's face too, but you don't want to do that because you'll probably get locked up or something. I
Can't
don't know.
do that.
But yeah,
Can't do that.
no, it's yeah, I liked it, man. I liked it. So
All right. Cool. Well, let's get into reader mail. So today it's a pretty simple question. Just kind of a simple answer here. So from one of our other videos, it says, do y'all make underwear or compression pants or shorts with a phone pocket? Very hot button issue, I know. So the answer to that is, and Tillman, I think you might even have a sample, we have some leggings that we sell.
for sure. Got the leggings here. And then on the side, you do have a little pocket. I know it's a black set, so it's probably getting washed out a little bit, but you got that pocket there, right? So, hit myself in the head with a hanger. We don't have to cut that.
That's all right. Workers' comp
Yeah.
claim.
So yeah, anything goes in there. I've been able to put my, I got a Galaxy S24. I almost put it in there, but I'm on the phone call with it. But it fits right down there in the pocket. Stays nice on the leg. Nothing really slides down. So
Nice. So me personally, I'm not the guy who puts my phone in the pocket. Like, I want no encumbrances when I work out. But yeah, we've got that. And then we're semi in the process of making some compression shorts, like some 9-inch, maybe even longer compression shorts that also have a phone pocket in them. But that's like, we're already releasing a number of products this year, so that's not on the back burner, but it's not like the first thing that's going to get released. We've got a few other things that are coming out. And hey, maybe you'll see those coming out here in the next couple weeks. We just released our mesh bikini brief, by the way. Those things are awesome. I've been wearing those for like the last couple months as we've been getting ready for launch, and man, super comfortable, super breathable. Try them out. They're awesome. Links down below. Look for the 4-pack bikini briefs.
sir.
So, all right, yeah, that's all we got, guys. We hope that this helped you out, this particular episode, and maybe you can see yourself a little bit in our stories and just take one thing away and try it out. So, this next week we are going to be practicing this whole emotional intelligence thing. Now, like, just so you know, we're always sort of practicing this, but we're going to be paying special attention this week, and we're going to come back next week and just tell some stories about, like, hey, this situation happened, I kind of sort of nailed it, or this situation happened and it did not go well. And we're just gonna hopefully give you guys some stories, some other ways of seeing this whole issue of emotional intelligence, so that maybe we can equip you with some ideas. So, love you guys. Thanks for staying with us for this episode. It was maybe a little more rambling than normal, but we just hope we can help. So, love you. See you next time.